You were in no shape to record last night, in all likelihood.
I could have, big game Abe, as they say,
I mean, yeah, I'm sure you could have pushed through. Cast Iron Brains, a podcast about not sports. My name is Bob, sitting across the way from my good friend and co-host. That's Abe. How you doing tonight, Abe?
Doing well, Bob.
Yeah, here we are. Lori's here too. How you doing tonight, Lori?
Yeah.
Lori's, yeah. Tonight is Wednesday, October the 1st, 2025. Abe, welcome back to the United States of America. It's worse than when you left.
You should just go.
I am glad to be back. I was in London for a few days, like 3 days, and then in Italy for 2. Very quick 5-day stretch, just in and out. The purpose of this trip was a wedding, so I'll start there. Great wedding. Perfect.
Wow, great wedding.
Yeah, perfect location for a wedding if you're into that sort of thing. I'm not like a wedding person, but if you're into that, like the backdrop, there's the mountains, like in Italy, like we're like near the Swiss border. The weather held out. It was a nice clear day. They kind of went all out. Mike and his wife now, Tiffany. They got like a string quartet, to play some music throughout the festivities. They had fireworks, which I've never seen for a wedding. I don't know if that's like a new thing, but they had fireworks later on after dinner, which went on for like, a good bit, like it's not like a Capitol 4th, right. But it was a substantial amount of fireworks for like a wedding. I will say, we can go ahead and lock it in. Mike is not going to have a third wedding. Like, I think this is it.
Too broke.
Why'd you put the kiss of death on them in any other way? Jesus.
Just lock it in. Like Jimmy Carter has his locks. It kind of falls apart. My locks, you can take it to the bank.
Like Jimmy Carter dying 4 years before he did, for example.
I eventually was right there. But the majority of my time was spent in London, so I'll
I just wanted, before you leave the wedding topic, I'm glad that it was a lovely time. The next time, I was thinking about this, right? This is a destination wedding in Europe for 40-year-olds or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Like, it's at no other point in human history is such a thing conceivable for anyone but the 0.1%.
That is true, yes.
Right? Like, and until 800 years ago or something, it was just literally inconceivable.
Yeah.
Right? Like just period.
Yeah.
And then for a few hundred years, it was inconceivable for all but the richest, 4 people on the planet. And then in the last 70 years or so, it's become de rigueur. It's just, it's lavish. It's a bit much, you might say. But your friends are not wealthy people,
right? Yeah,
they're just folks
anymore,
right?
Right. They're just folks who work,
right?
They're professionals who have good jobs,
right.
but families and mortgages and responsibilities and all of that, and yet they can pick up and be like, hey, people that we love most in the world, you're all going to fucking do this.
Right.
And we're going to fly across the goddamn globe, and we're going to hang out for a week, and you're going to watch us get married.
Right.
40
and
plus
people.
It's just an impossible concept.
Right.
At any other point in human history, basically.
No, that's a good point. I mean,
go ahead and fucking complain about something.
Right.
You fucking goober pieces of shit out there, whoever you are.
The miracle of flight. I mean, it's remarkable that it takes me about 8 hours to drive up to you guys from where I am here in Atlanta, and that time by flight will take you to London. It's like, and you don't have to drive.
Less than that.
You're just sitting there, and then you watch some shitty movies.
So you recorded with us on Wednesday night before you left, a week ago tonight, right? Yeah. and you uploaded the file or whatever. It was 10 minutes to 10 or something, I think, by the time that finally happened. How long was it before you were on a plane? Less than 2 hours?
Less than 2 hours. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. I think I mentioned that to you guys. I don't think it was on air, but there was a inducement of $800 to get people off the plane because they had to change planes and there were about 30 seats fewer. And so they needed to kind of get 30 people to fuck off, right? And so they opened pretty strong, 800. It ended up being 1,600 plus a night hotel.
Wow.
It needed to get to that level before people started to like say, okay, fine, we'll take it. I at no point I just don't like to make any modifications. Like it says here to take me to London by Thursday afternoon, and that's what I'm going to do. Like I don't care what your stupid money. And so, but like $1,600 it took. So it actually was about.
Would that have resulted in essentially a free ride for you though? Like if you had taken it?
Yeah, basically.
Like how much?
They were like, we give you $1,600. We'll pay you, like the night at a hotel, even though I live like 10 minutes from there. And then you get on the next available flight, which is like the next afternoon. But then you basically lose a day. You lose all of Thursday. And if you already booked a hotel or if you had arrangements or whatever, then, so, but setting that's what the money's for, I guess. But other than that, it wouldn't have impacted my, the wedding was happening on that Monday. So like, it was just basically me just lollygagging in London. And I was like, oh, fuck that out. I want to lollygag.
I'd rather lollygag, yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's at least 1,600 is decent, hopefully.
If you got on the plane, you're in the air by midnight or whatever, presumably. When do you land in London?
About 1 p.m. By the way, slept through the whole thing.
Okay, so you slept through the flight over.
Yeah, they give you there are different eating opportunities on these international flights. I missed all of them. I woke up to the very like an hour before landing. They were like, "Hey, you want some coffee?" I was like, "Yeah, give me some of that." But I did not have anything to eat. Actually, on both ways. I just kind of. Some people don't.
So that's good. Yeah. So you slept through it. You land and you're good to go walk around London and see the sights or whatever.
I was good to go. Basically, and then I used their little tube that they have. By the way, a great public transit system they have there. I know the locals.
Really great.
Anytime it's weird that especially coming from somewhere like Atlanta that has shitty public transit. I'm always telling people when I was there oh man, this thing is amazing. I mean it's almost foolproof. It'll tell you exactly which line to get on depending on where you want to go. Google Maps is integrated very well with it. So if you're like, I want to go to Buckingham Palace, I said, get on this train and stop here and then walk 5 minutes and you're there. It's very well done. There was one hiccup. I think it was a Friday. I think I was going to the British Museum. And the train just stopped. This train was packed full of tourists and people that were going to work. Stops, and then some British voice comes on, and they're like, what happened was somebody jumped on the tracks, but the way they put it was there was a trespasser, and we need everybody to come off. And as soon as that message was received and people started to file out, one British dude said, and this is his words, not mine, "You stupid fucking cunt." He said that so loud and so British that I just got a chuckle out of it. Everybody else took it in the frustrating way he said it, but I just thought it was just such a somebody probably is in a bad mental way, right? If they're jumping on a train track, but just the inconvenience was enough for him to just say that. It's you fucking asshole, you ruined my whatever.
Right. No, it's great. You are a avowed and renowned city enthusiast, right?
Yes, I like.
You love a good city, which is funny because you come from one of America's lamest cities.
That's why I drive other places.
Goes to other ones, and he's like,
why can't we have that?
Yeah.
How does London stack up? You've traipsed across America many, many times. Seeing what many would describe as America's second and third rate cities. So I'm not comparing it to Cincinnati. You'd have to compare it to New York or some big city.
New
York or DC,
LA.
maybe.
Yeah. And so
not even DC's too tiny. New York, Chicago, LA.
Yeah, basically, it's at that level. I mean, London's a great city. It's a great city. It's interesting how much older of a city it is. Like, it's very apparent. Like, the very first night I did like some pub crawl thing, and so just talking to by the way, pub crawl with people from all over America. Like, oh, what part of London are you from? Dallas, San Diego. Like, oh, yeah. There was one guy who was from Pittsburgh, and he was on his way up to see the Steelers play because they were playing in Dublin.
Nice.
And some other people were going to see some Oktoberfest or something was happening in Germany. But basically, it's like anytime I interact with people, there was a 60% chance there were fellow Americans and not like the locals. But
that's funny.
When you go to these pubs or restaurants or what have you, when you use their facilities, their bathrooms, it shows its age. They have like the trough, and the ceiling is like 5 inches shorter than you, and I'm not particularly tall. You have to kind of like crouch just to pee. Like it's just very like, oh, this is a very old city. A lot of their amenities are not where New York is or some other city. So like in that respect, it's different. But it's a fun place to be. Very expensive. It's remarkably expensive. Just anything you do is just
like just walking around.
Yeah, just
everything
like
costs double.
Yeah, I mean their train system is it's fine, but like everything else is just a lot. Like everything, because you're paying basically like
the dollar is half of a pound.
Right. So basically, like,
is it now though? I don't think that's right anymore. I think that's old bad math.
We're losing on that exchange. And basically, I mean, like the dollar doesn't go as far as their pound does.
1 pound sterling is $1.35 US.
Right. So basically, very it's very expensive. But once you set that aside, it's a very fun place to be. They are very either paranoid, or you would think that there's a lot of property like crime happening everywhere you go. I see all of these signs about watching out for pickpockets and somebody sexually assaulting you and people spiking your drinks. Like, it's very everywhere you go, there are signs everywhere saying, "Watch out! Something bad's gonna happen to you." And it's
there's I don't know if you've heard, but like for the last decade, there's been this global migrant crisis, and it's making people really weird.
Okay, maybe is that what's going on? Because I wasn't there before this influx, but like, I'm still alive. I still have all my stuff. No one stole anything from me. There was one guy that somebody ran down to tackle because I think there was some misunderstanding, but some burly guy took it upon himself to like play the cop. Like, he wasn't a cop. He's like, "Hey, you stole something from somebody," and I don't know what came of that. But just like that becomes very apparent. You see all of these signs of like, be on the lookout for something. Just be worried at all times. It's very strange.
But there's no guns anywhere.
Yeah, there's no gun, but a lot of stabby. A lot of knife attacks over there. I did not see any stabbings.
Oh yeah, disappointed. What did you eat? Did you go to?
So somebody recommended I go eat at this Indian restaurant. I think it was called Dishoom or something. Great. It was like an Indian/Iranian setup. All the food was great. They have this weird thing where, on multiple occasions, I had to confirm this. So the first night I ate at this Indian place, and the second night I went to a steak place. So the first night, I'm like, "Hey, give me like an old fashioned," right? And they give you a glass with ice in it, and then separately a pre-made old fashioned that you have to then yourself, put together. So okay, that's weird, but maybe it's some sort of Indian scheme, like chalking up to that. Then I go to the steak place the next night. I'm like, let's run that back. Let me get an old fashioned, and they do the same thing. And I went to like a third place at like not a restaurant. Yet again, I don't know if this is a rule they have or they.
It's a build your own cocktail country.
Yeah,
over there?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's behind that, but on 3 separate occasions, they gave you the mix separate from the ice. But the food was great. The people were fine, and the weather was like there was not a drop of rain. It was like the great weather just followed me. Like it started. It was very sunny and walkable, and nice like fall, like 50, 60 degree weather. Saturday the same thing, and then when I went to Italy, it was also great. But
how much just kind of walking around did you do?
I used a mixture of it wasn't like one of those like 20, 30, 40,000 like it wasn't like one of those things. It was a very good centrally located, and kudos to your brother Chris for
Oh yeah, how was the hotel?
the hotel was great. The Hyatt Regency. Another interesting quirk about, and again, I think this is a London thing, they're very big on conserving energy. So, like, this Hyatt Regency had it to where, the key card they give you to get access to it.
You got to put it in the slot
Yeah.
to get all of the electricity to work in your room, right?
Yes, you have to slot it, and then
But then also you don't lose it.
yeah, that's true. So I guess there's an advantage there, but everything seems to be geared towards like let's not be wasteful over there, or more so than they are here. The rooms are small. Everything you see is kind of more compact, and like you can kind of understand why there are all these queues and lines people are waiting for when you go to the heart of London. Once you go inside, the restaurants and places are tiny. So that's why there are certain people waiting on the outside. But
Gotcha.
no, it's like centrally located, so I didn't have to walk far. I didn't like trek out like outside of the main London hub. So I did not walk that much.
It's a humongous city.
Yeah, it's just you'd have to kind of like unless you're staying there for much longer, you'd have to kind of just settle on the fact that you're going to hit just the main areas and just kind of enjoy the place.
All right. So you said you went to some museum or another.
Yeah. So basically, So
The
I went
British
to
Museum.
I went to the British Museum. I went to the Buckingham.
Is this an art museum or a history museum? What is it?
So it's like a everything museum. Basically, they have like I don't know how many floors. It is like one of the biggest museums I've seen. Like they have like different sections where it's like this is some shit from Asia. This is some shit from Africa. This is like new
Look
stuff.
at all that we hath plundered
Yeah.
through our many
it's like
years.
it's history, but it's huge.
Right, it is. Yeah, it's like I said. It's one. I mean, I don't think I was there for a few hours and I wasn't able to hit all of the it's just so big. Like you just have to just kind of walk around and like, wow, this place is great. And then like I did like dinner and a show one night and dinner and a movie the next
Oh
night.
yeah, you went to the theater.
Yeah, I went to
that was the theater show.
Operation Mincemeat, the great show. It was a smaller theater than I imagined, but they had it set up pretty nicely. They had just 5 actors playing multiple roles. It's like a 2.5 hour kind of thing with a 15-minute intermission. They did a pretty great job. It was a very fun, funny kind of play musical. And then I went to go see One Battle After Another.
Saw the movie.
So this theater, this is like an old another.
Was it an AMC? Could you
No.
use your?
This I had to pay out of 30 pounds. I don't even know what the conversion is to that for one
Wow.
movie. Like so, like that's
It's like $45
yeah,
or
it's
something.
like,
or 40
approaching
bucks.
40. Yeah, right. So, but this is a theater so old that before there were the talkies, movies with sound, they had movies without, and they had all the captions and the whatnot. And they have like an organist, or they had one where they would just kind of play music to kind of, I guess, to enhance the experience. For some reason, they kept that replica. So like, I asked some random seatmate, and I was like, "What's going on with this goofy organist thing? Like they're playing some music before the show started." They're like, "Oh, they bring this out for like premieres and like big kind of event." And this was like the opening weekend, and they were showing the film in 35 whatever millimeter.
Oh, you
format.
got to see it as PTA intended.
Yeah, so basically it was like, they're doing some sort of thing, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then it just, the movie starts and it's great. But no, it was a nice viewing opportunity. That place had a AMC A-list kind of subscription package, but you had to like commit for 4 months, and I was like, fuck that.
Right.
So, but yeah, so
Well, good. And then on to Italy after that.
and then then on.
Did you feel like you got enough out of London, or would you go back?
I mean, I would want to hit up other major cities. I would like to see how Paris and Tokyo and Beijing or some place like that. Before I go back to London, but I would love to go back to London. I felt like I didn't really get any experience from Italy. I flew into like the Milan airport, and then one of my friends flew at the same time, so I hitched a ride with him to go to the small town in the north, and then we're just there for a couple of days. I was just hanging out with people from Atlanta for 2 days.
Right.
And other than just like the beauty of it, like I didn't interact with any Italians or
Right.
anything.
Could have been anywhere.
Right, it could have been. Until you go. One thing I'll notice. You remember back in the day, American television, they would have those like 1-900 numbers with those scantily clad women they're like, hey, call for like a couple of dollars worth of, per minute, whatever.
Right.
That still exists in other countries. That's still a thing. It was in Italy.
How's that? It's advertised to you on the
No,
television or
it's
something?
it's kind of channel surfing. Like, oh, let me, see what's going on. Or, what sort of action we have here. What sort of movies. and that was one. I'm like, wow, this is very like old school. It's like it's a different era. Like that part
Right.
of the region is very like old. So yeah.
Well, cool. Sounds like a fun, no doubt, very expensive.
Yeah, very. Yeah, I'm like I was like I'm not going to any more foreign things unless somebody dies or another marriage, And somebody's like, hey, you guys want to do Turkey next year? It's like, no. I'm gonna go to Detroit. That's the plan for next
in my car.
In my car, yes.
In my 2017
That's
Honda.
right.
Well, you missed some sports action and some largely bad sports results, it must be said.
If this were happened the weekend before, it would have been a perfect like wedding weekend trip and then like a great weekend of football with some bad results. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good. I think I hinted at the end of the other show that like I don't want to talk about any of the bad things that have happened here in the last week.
It's great because it's 10:30 already.
I know it's already very late, and so we don't have to talk about them much. But like, what does one say about Donald Trump and his Secretary of War inviting all of the generals to Virginia at Quantico and saying the things that they said about you need to be prepared to fight the enemy within, and also you 65-year-old generals should be doing more push-ups. like it's the most childish and also terrifying, right? Like there's the expression, the banality of evil, right? Like this is the immaturity of fascism, right? And maybe that's like, because a lot of the times when like you see the parodies of Hitler stuff, and it's like the Mel Brooks thing, the producers, or it's like like Hitler in Springtime or whatever that was, or like the way South Park deals with Saddam Hussein or the devil. Like some of this is just like the stupidity and immaturity of those who pretend towards authoritarianism.
Right.
But I can't imagine that Hitler was this dumb, right? Like we present him as dumb and ineffectual and sort of gay, right? Right? Like in order to make fun of him. Childish and gay, but like he wasn't that way, right?
Or
like
was he?
He must have been an effective.
What makes you think that, given this?
Yeah, but I think what I'm saying is like the world is getting worse, and our authoritarian, fascistic asshole leaders are meaningfully lamer.
Right. Do you not think that Trump is more like a Mussolini type? Because he was kind of a cartoonish guy.
There was something, I didn't read it, but it said, maybe it was Slate, that said like we're comparing Trump to the wrong dictator,
Right.
and it wasn't Mussolini.
It was
someone Mussolini. Right. It was someone else.
More recent, or like from the further past?
Same time frame.
Yeah, I wonder who that was. But like, yeah, it's interesting because
I don't think he's like any of them, because I think fundamentally the right analysis of Donald Trump is that he's just a figure of camp. Yeah. Like there was if I can dig it up, I forget who it was. I think it was a WAPO reporter who wrote what I thought was
Francisco Franco.
Oh, the Spanish guy.
One of the smarter analyses of the whole Trumpening. But it's like, if you don't appreciate like camp, then you can't understand Donald Trump, and because he's just this garish, gross person, and yeah, like this. Like at the same time that it's obviously super lame and weird, it should be terrifying that he's talking about, like, because he's sending the National Guard or whatever into Portland now after doing this in Los Angeles, and then they abandon that effort and he pretends like everything went great. the city is suing him in federal court. Then he goes on and he does the same thing in Portland, and he tells all of his generals to be prepared to to use American cities as a training ground and to prepare for fighting the enemy within. Like, imagine, it's the dumbest, I recognize it's the dumbest game that you can play, but imagine Barack Obama saying these things. Right. It would have been marching and guns in the street, right? Like it would have been like Glenn Beck would have died of an aneurysm and an erection at the same time if Barack Obama had said the things that Donald Trump has been saying, that he said to his gathered generals there. And then to make it even dumber, his stupid Fox News host of a Secretary of Defense, nay, Secretary of War, is talking about how we need our fighting force to be in fighting shape, and how every single day that you are on active duty, whether you're a new recruit or you're a 5-star general or 4-star general, you need to be doing PT, and you need to pass the physical fitness test, the same physical fitness test every year, no matter what. And it's like, you fucking dumbass. You think we're fighting, like, you think that the asshole 4-star general is going to have to strap on a 60-pound pack and march across Europe? Right. You fucking moron. And you think the ideal United States soldier moving forward probably looks more like the but actually mean guy than he looks like The Rock. Right. You know? Right. Like, yes.
Or like an actual robot. There
is a need for special forces to be able to do great feats of physical strength and endurance, no doubt. But, like, what is the future of the American fighting force? And it's either software engineers or programmers or straight up nerds or fucking people who can play video games really well. You know, like, you want Asians. You want a lot of dexterous fingers involved and people who know how to do computer programming and stuff.
Right. And you also want people who are, to prevent things from getting worse, smart people to be analysts and intelligence gathering and whatnot, kind of understand the situation and provide kind of sound advice to whomever's making decisions. You know, there are other ways to kind of get at it. It seems like they're just trying to project strength by this cartoonish way. Like, you have to look the part, like, out of central casting.
Because all they care about is what it looks like on fucking television.
Right. Yeah.
And then we get Paul Feinbaum and Stephen A. Smith into the world of politics. Because all that matters
that's an improvement.
Is what it looks like on television.
Right. You know, what's interesting about this Trump era, there's like this effective way that maybe it's not just Trump, but others have created this permission structure for conservatives to criticize America. And that's basically to pin it on a certain segment of America. Like, because the love it or leave it or love your country and all that stuff, like, seems to kind of give way to, well, if it's a city that I don't like, then do what you will. You know, sick the military apparatus on the city that I don't like, right? And that's fine. That's not America anymore for whatever reason. Like, there seems to be this way to where if there's a homelessness issue, this is not an America problem. This is a specific left of center problem. Gun violence is not a problem of too many guns. It's a problem of left of center cities who can't handle, the problem. Basically, they've created this way to criticize the bad things that are happening and pin it on a very specific segment of the population. And that seems to be what people are using to just kind of like forgive all of these actions.
And to do it in a way that is completely unserious, right? To do it in a way that, like, he comes out of the meeting with Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries and tweets out or truths out an AI-generated video that includes Schumer talking about, like, what a worthless piece of shit Schumer is, and Hakeem Jeffries standing there dancing in a sombrero looking like a moron, right? And then if you take that seriously, they think then you're the fucking loser, right? Like, any attempt at interacting with the level of bad faith that they're bringing makes you a fucking loser. Right. And that's why there is no effective or effectual response to the thing that he is doing because he's treating it all like a fucking stupid joke, right? This is a guy who's tweeting out or sent out a video about how it was this weird fake Fox News video hosted by Lara Trump, not real, in which she announces that President Trump is announcing this new technology called MedBed, where they're going to have all of these fancy futuristic. It's like you watch Starship Troopers or any of a million different sci-fi future movies, and somebody gets their fucking leg blown off in one scene, and then you see them in the next scene, and they're just in this pod, and their body is being rebuilt with nanotechnology or what have you, and like
with like lasers,
lasers doing nanotech shit, and 2 days later they're fine, they're just walking around, they've got all of their limbs because we can just reconstitute the human body as long as we've got some DNA laying around. We know how all of the pieces go together, so why is it that hard? Trump tweeted out a video of him announcing the existence of med beds and how the American people are going to benefit so greatly from this technology, and then deleted it like 12 hours later or something. And I don't know what that means, right? Like, I literally don't know what any of it means, because on the one hand, this is a QAnon conspiracy theory, basically, where they've been saying that this technology exists, and we backward engineered it from the aliens in the 1950s, and the government has been keeping it from us. And Donald Trump, with his anti-pharma Maha agenda, is going to finally unleash all of this amazing healing technology that the government has been hiding from us for generations. And then he goes and tweets that out to his followers and then just deletes it a few hours later, and nobody talks about it. Like, they don't have anything to say about it. And like, this is the president of the United States of America. What the fuck are we doing? And I don't even know if you're supposed to be upset about it or not, right? Like, why do I care that Donald Trump is tweeting out this video about the MedBed stuff? Except that because it has no truth value. It has no utility whatsoever in anything, and yet it has to become the focus of all of us. Or you just ignore it, right? Or that's the alternative.
I think the ignoring it is like intentionally done. Basically, this is kind of flooding the zone of just like norm-breaking behavior to the point where you can't keep up with what's going on. Like, and so you kind of tune it out because, like, I don't know, like everybody else around me seems to be going about their lives, so maybe this is not important.
Did you see that Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, used, I didn't see the tweet, for the speech that Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth gave to the collected, a thing that's never happened before, right? Donald Trump and the Secretary of Defense demanded that all of the generals from all over the world come home for a speech, right? And then when asked about it, the Speaker of the House of Representatives said, I didn't see that. So I can't, it sounds like you've pulled that out of you're taking one line out of context. So, and I didn't see it. So I guess I'm just behind. I'm busy. I'm very busy being the Speaker of the House. I'm busy doing my serious job of Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Which is a common dodge for whenever there's something that's like not good. It's like, I didn't catch that, or I must have missed it, or you're taking it out of context. It's not the first time I've heard. No,
it's the thing that Republicans use all of the time for the last decade to get out of responding to the worst and dumbest things that motherfucker has said. I didn't see the tweet. But like, if you are so busy being the Speaker of the House of the Representatives that you don't even bother to pay attention or claim to not pay attention when Trump gathers all of the generals and says he wants to sick them on the various Democratic-run cities in this country. Maybe you're not actually doing your job in the way that matters. And like, it's this motherfucker has been impeached twice. He's been failed to be convicted twice. One wonders what Mitch McConnell thinks about his failure to impeach him the second time, to convict him the second time. I have some small amount of, we won't impeach him over the Ukraine thing the first time through. I think it was wrong. I think that he probably should have been removed because of that. Whatever. We've discussed that at length, I'm sure, in the past. He could have been removed for that. He absolutely should have been convicted on the second impeachment, and we wouldn't be dealing with this right now. We would have, no doubt, a whole host of other problems. Right. I'm not saying the world would be a fundamentally better place, but it would be better in an important way, in a way that matters.
It's also it's hard to imagine any other politician doing a lot of this stuff, right? I mean, like the calling the generals from wherever, and like the hiring of TV personalities at top posts. Like I mean, yeah, there'd be other, stuff like, the gutting of services and things like that. That would still be in place, but like there would not be a lot of the crazy stuff.
And I just don't know anymore, like, how much you're supposed to fucking care, or how much any of it fucking matters. Because either it all matters a great deal, because we should be taking him seriously, because it matters that he says that we're going to use American cities as training ground for America's military, and that we are going to fight the enemy within, at the same time that he like tweets out made up bullshit AI videos about med beds and Hakeem Jeffries in a sombrero.
Right.
Did you get any, and this will be, the answer will be no. Did you get any sense of American politics at a remove while you were over there? Was there any sort of nudging or hinting or even conversation about like, boy, you fucking weirdos over there, what is going on?
You know what's interesting, and Italian media, there wasn't much there, but like in London, I'm not saying we live in a U.S. bubble over here, but I've never seen so many different perspectives like than I did when I was in London. You're flipping through the news channels over there, and they're talking about the goings-on in China and Russia and Iran and the Middle East and Africa and the United States, but they would kind of do it in this kind of like, oh, and this is what happened here and this is what happened there. I forget what they mentioned with I think there was some Gaza deal or something on the Trump side, but like it wasn't like, obviously it's not U.S. focused, but it's also not like one thing focused. They just kind of just spread the information out. And so, like, a lot of the crazy stuff did not reach over there. I don't even think they mentioned the generals meeting thing. They just kind of talked about something else.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there wasn't a lot of U.S. stuff being shown over there.
All right. The government is shut down at the moment.
I mean,
as of midnight last night, except that it's not even meaningfully shut down, right? Like none of the essential services have been shut down. Like it's like they've chosen to do all stakes, no consequences with shutdowns now, right? Like there's not actually anything that's going to matter in the immediate future, right?
Yeah.
Like you said it, I think before we started recording, you're going to work tomorrow, right?
Yeah. And so many people are too. You know what's interesting is that there really is. I mean, maybe the national parks will close. I'm not sure, but just about everything.
No, someone said that the Shenandoah Park was open.
Yeah, so like
with
even
reduced services or something.
Right, but like typically, like if anything would be closed,
Well, I think in 2019 they left them open but didn't have anybody staffing them, right? So like there was nobody to clean the fucking bathrooms or remove the trash.
Right.
Which is great.
And so, after that 2018, 2019 experience, there was a law that was passed and signed by the first term Trump, which basically kind of like codified into law. Well, it's kind of like a thing that they always did, which is basically go and give back pay to the employees. And so now it's basically like enshrined into law. So basically you're not doing anything but waste money. Like this is a wasteful exercise. And I'm not sure if going back, in 2018, 2019, and 2013 and other years, what sort of concessions were won. Like what is the upside to having it done this way? To me, you would think that they would come up with a law that says if we can't come up with a new agreement, then the continuing resolution kicks in automatically. Like have it to where you stop having these weird shutdowns because again, you're just wasting money. You're just not gaining anything by doing this.
The Democrats are not in charge of anything right now, but they are going to be tagged with this shutdown, right? This will not, the blame for this is not going, despite the best efforts of the mainstream media here to frame it as Donald Trump shutting down the government. I don't think it is a narrative that is going to stick. And this is going to be on the Democrats for shutting the government down.
That'll be interesting to see how the polling shakes out. I suspect that, left of center people are going to say that it's the Republicans' fault, and then the right of center people are going to stick with their side. Like, I'm not sure if it's going to be as clear as it has in past years, but I'll be interested to see if it does break that way, if there is some blame that goes towards the Democrats, because on the Senate side, you need to get to 60 votes. And that's why, even though they're the minority party, they have leverage there. They don't have any leverage at the White House or in the lower chamber in the House. But in the Senate, you need to get to 60. There were a couple of people that broke away, like Fetterman and some other person. But you need more. And the sticking point seems to be at this point the healthcare subsidies, where basically they're projecting that premiums will go up even higher starting when the open enrollment begins in November. And so I guess there's some attempt to stave off that. I'm not sure if there are, and I think there's other issues at hand as far as making sure that Trump doesn't go back on agreed upon deals, in the law through rescissions or what have you. So I don't know where this ends up. I imagine, by early next week, they're going to kick the can down the road to say, we've made enough progress to have ongoing discussions, and we're being worked into the decision-making process, and so they'll pass something. I mean, that's my guess, because even though federal employees are getting paid, if they go a month or more, the TSA employees are going to stop showing up, and then you're going to have that's the primary area where the general public will feel the impact, because the checks will continue to be sent out, but if airports ground to a halt, that's going to become a spectacle.
Yeah, and we're, like Lori's saying, we're only 7 weeks away or whatever from the holiday travel season kicking off in earnest. Right. So presumably they will figure something out. Like I said, I don't know how you can talk about this when, and it's not exactly like what the Democrats have to deal with, but there's all of this complaining about the Democratic response to the trumpeting. And at this point, it's just, how do you possibly respond in an effective way when he's tweeting out AI videos of Chuck Schumer saying curse words and Hakeem Jeffries dancing around in a sombrero?
Right.
What is, if that is not only acceptable but deemed hilarious and awesome by half the country, then what is your response? What is something that could? There are no adults in the room. There's no one that you can talk to seriously get you moving in the right direction.
Right.
And so, what is the fucking point?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
They all just lie all the time. They're just telling stupid lies. And the moment you start to take something seriously, they laugh at you for taking it seriously.
Right.
At the same time that they're fucking do your push-ups and be a hardo. And we're going to crack down on crime and we're going to keep blowing up Venezuelan drug boats.
Right.
I mean, I like the commentary that says, only hot dudes and no women.
But anyway, that's why that's my level of frustration with everything right now, and so I don't particularly have a lot to say about everything right now. Today in history, the 2017 Las Vegas the 2017 Las Vegas Music Festival shooting apparently was.
Wait, this happened. I thought it was in August or something. This happened late September, early October.
AP is saying October 1st, this day in history.
No kidding. Wow. Still no motive.
Deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history. Gunman opened fire from the Mandalay Bay. Only 60 deaths is still kind of... I know it's a lot of deaths, but... Only killing 60, firing into a crowd of 20,000 people.
That is true, yeah.
You'd think that that many alone would have been trampled just in the response to the moment. And yeah, still no idea about the why with that guy. All right. It is already getting late. This will be a short episode of this podcast. There was some Strassman but it wasn't very good. So we were
Come
just
on,
going
Strassman.
to move along. You've been listening to Cast Iron Brains, a podcast about Abe's travels in Europe and not a whole lot else. You can find the show on Substack, brainiron.substack.com, for more from us, including the Billboard Hot 100 game and the sports show, Cast Iron Balls. The opening and closing themes of the show are composed by Mark Gillig, tetramermusic.com, Tetramer music.com. For more from Mark. Abe, while you were gone, my sister texted me a screenshot of Jerry Jones looking extremely fragile and old and near to death. And she said, could this be Abe's next prediction? Which was her way of eschewing responsibility for getting in on the old man dying soon prediction game. And the moral depravity that you have now infected my dear and kind sister with, I hold you fully responsible for her moral failures in that way.
You know, it's interesting. I'm associated with old people dying and like leg injuries. The wedding, you know, there were about 40 plus people that attended, and so because the number was manageable, I was gonna say bride and groom, but who's kidding who? The bride wrote like a handwritten kind of like thanks for coming thing to everybody, and they kind of personalized it. And Jimmy Carter made an appearance in my like write up. So yes, but no, I don't have any inside information on Jerry Jones. He's gonna be around for a little while.
All right,
you know,
that's good to know. I look forward to you eventually calling for his death.
I'm not calling for it. I'm just forecasting.
Oh, of course not. Certainly
you
not.
like think the weatherman is calling
just
for
like
bad weather?
you're not calling for Mike's marriage to fall apart quickly so that he can get onto his third by suggesting that this will definitely not result in a third marriage moving forward.
That's not what I said. That was a sincere prediction. Lock it in.
Oh yeah, clearly. Mark it down. Abe, did you make it? I know you made it to the movies. How was Paul Thomas Anderson's latest film?
It was
One Battle After Another.
It was a pretty solid movie. Yeah, One Battle After Another. It's getting great reviews. It's well deserved. It's a bit long. It's a bit like 2 hours, 45 minutes long movie. It's an interesting story, especially in this current environment. So, DiCaprio and the others in the movie, they're part of a left-wing terrorist revolutionary group. You know, they commit acts of violence to push back against the fascist government elements that exist.
What is our time frame here? Are we 2025 or do we have a setting?
They go back 20, 30 years. Because basically there's a daughter is in the middle of this. So basically like DiCaprio and some other revolutionary, they are paired up and they have a kid, or so it appears. Sean Penn is in this. He plays this cartoonish, evil, like racist guy who has a fondness for the black woman. I mean, he's got this thing like, oh boy, big fan, yeah. Right? And so DiCaprio's main squeeze is this black woman. She's played by Tiana Taylor, like a musical artist that does movies, I guess. Anyways. They fast forward 25 years, so I don't know when it's set. Like I want to say 80s, 90s, and then it jumps to the present day. I don't remember there being any reference to an actual year. But
like cell phones and modern cars and all of that.
Yeah,
shit?
Yeah, and so basically the gist of it is Sean Penn is this military guy. And he's gung-ho about suppressing the left-wing radicals, and again, he's has got a thing for black women. He tries to join this underground Christian white nationalist movement that is in every branch of the government, military, politicians, and so for him to get in, he's got to be, for the cause, white and Christian and nationalist, and like
got to prove his bona fides.
Yeah. So basically, like, hey, you're not into any sort of improper relationships. There's word on the street you may be into the black women. It's like, oh, how dare you? This is outrageous. Blah blah blah. But then he comes to learn that it's possible that the daughter that DiCaprio is raising is actually his daughter, because he had a few nights with the lady. And so he seeks out to kill her, to first confirm whether or not she is his spawn. And then if she is, he's going to...
Erase the proof.
Yeah, erase the proof. And basically that's kind of the thrust of the second half of the movie, just Sean Penn seeking out the daughter, and then also DiCaprio trying to find his daughter, and then Sean Penn. But it's well done. Like he.
I think maybe I'll edit that sentence out. That seemed like such an unnecessary spoiler. I'm usually fine with your spoilers, but that just seemed cruel for some reason.
Sean Penn. Yeah. It's
I mean,
fine.
it's
It's a movie.
besides the point. But Sean Penn does a pretty good job of being just like a very reprehensible character.
I read an interview with Penn in the New York Times or New York Times Magazine. I'm not sure where it will eventually be published, but it's in my New York Times app. And it was good. He's always been sort of portrayed and sort of by him, by his own words as this, sort of annoying Hollywood liberal type,
Right.
like that's sort of your impression of Sean Penn.
Right.
But he's a bit more level-headed than your sort of cartoonish impression of him is, probably. At the same time that he's like a fairly volatile and obviously like emotional and semi-unstable kind of character. I mean, he still has my favorite self-important Hollywood moment of all time when he was
with the Chris Rock joke.
at the Oscars and Chris Rock had been like, man, we sure do get a lot of fucking Jude Law this year, don't we? Are there any other actors in the world besides this Jude Law? He was in everything. And fucking Sean Penn gets up on the stage 15 or 20 minutes later. He's like, Jude Law happens to be one of our finest actors. Like, all right, calm down, guy.
Oh man, another opportunity. What if small Sean Penn slapped a Rock like before Will Smith did? That'd have been something.
Yeah, could have been a whole different world. But yeah, I'll make sure there's a link to that interview in the show note. I'll make it a gift article. You don't have to be. I just enjoyed the interview that he gave to the Times guy, and he's also a fun character who pops up in that Charlie Sheen documentary that we still need to watch the second half of as an interview subject.
I will say DiCaprio does a pretty good job of playing like a hapless buffoon that's in over his head. But he loves his daughter, even though it's not actually his daughter, and he does a very good job in this movie.
This is like enjoyably out of character for a lot of the roles that he's taken through the years, right? Like I can't remember, and just watching the second batch of previews for this movie, like it did seem like Leo kind of unleashed in a way. Because like he did The Revenant, and it was very over the top, but also very serious, right? Like very still actorly, and I don't know, serious is the word I have for it. Whereas this seems almost like on the Tarantino side of like kind of going for it, as an actor.
I suspect this will play well for the award season.
Yeah. Anything else that you indulged in, culturally speaking?
No, I just like I said, I watched the Operation Mincemeat, but that's just like a play, a musical set in the 1940s.
Nothing, because we were at the football game on Friday night, so we didn't even get to watch our Great British Baking Show that we've been watching with the kids. And then Saturday was just baseball, and then football. And then Sunday,
Baseball. And then more baseball.
And then more baseball.
Last week you guys said, regardless of which direction the Georgia game goes, you'll watch that late window. Did you guys end up watching the late window of football Saturday night?
Yeah.
We watched some, but not all, I think, of that Colorado game.
We listened to Ari and Andy.
Yeah, we watched Sports Podcasting Bros.
We had one TV with them talking, and then the video of the football.
Okay.
I was so bummed about that fucking game. It was a very frustrating evening.
On the bright side, kudos to the Cut Rate mobile phone services. I had like a Visible, which is one of these like $25 the Verizon, blah blah blah, and like they give you some freebie global days. And I watched the entirety of the Georgia Alabama game on the mobile plan for free in some
Awesome.
random
Oh,
country.
yeah?
I was like, oh, this is great. I mean, what I'm watching isn't great, but the ability to just, I didn't have to like switch out some SIM card. Just like, you know, as
Right.
soon as it lands, they're like, hey, you're somewhere else. Like, enjoy this free shit. And
It's a whole different world. You used to have to really like there would be whole like Clark Howard
Yes.
tutorials on like how the fuck to survive in Europe
Right.
in terms of your money and your cell phone and renting a car and all of this shit
Credit card.
and credit
you
cards.
still do need some new goofy fucking outlets, and depending on where, like the UK had one,
Yep.
and then the EU had
Yep.
another one. I was like, wow, why can't we figure this out?
We won't figure
Well, the
it out. We could.
fucking
we
British
won't.
decided they didn't want to be part of
Yeah.
the EU anymore. I think largely because of
But even
electrical
country
outlets,
to country
as I
in
remember
Europe,
it.
it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody seems to be
It's not
doing
just
it. You know,
EU.
and those universal things don't really work out. I got some Amazon Universal one.
No, because it's wattage and voltage and stuff.
I'm gonna write a
The
review
wattage
soon.
and the voltage. Gotta be careful.
I think I'm gonna use those words
I mean-
in my review. I don't know if it was the wattage or the voltage, but I won my
One
$8.99
of
back.
them. It's like it matches one but not the other, and then your appliances explode.
Yeah.
Who are you who are so wise in the ways of exploding
Uh,
appliances?
I'm a hairstylist who has clients who travel, and I always tell them just buy one over there.
Yeah, that's
Let's
the
see.
best. Yeah, buy stuff over there.
Buy one over there. You're fucking rich. You're spending $300 on your highlights. You can afford a hairdryer in Italy.
I am reading a book called
Oh, Bob, we gotta go.
Blaze by Stephen King. That is the only other thing that I am consuming at the moment. And yeah, a lot of baseball politics happening at the moment. Little
Yeah,
League
you need to stop recording.
baseball politics.
Baseball, politics, boy, there's always turmoil.
Well, it's election season here in Little League baseball world. So a lot going on. Abe, have you got anything else for us tonight?
Nope.
Well, I guess that's all we've got for you tonight then, and we will talk to you next time.
Later.
Leaves us still with to The proceeding was created with 100% human content.